Marcus Thompson was living his dream life in the Philippines with a beautiful woman who seemed to genuinely love him, until one accidentally glimpsed text message exposed a shocking truth that destroyed everything he believed about their relationship. What he discovered next didn't just break his heart. It revealed a dark reality that every foreign man dating in the Philippines needs to know about. You can't trust any of them, the red-faced American at the hotel bar slurs into his beer. They're all after one thing. I pretend not to hear him as I check my phone for the third time in 5 minutes. Still no messages. The loneliness hits me like a punch to the chest as I watch him stumble away. 3 months. That's how long I've been in the Philippines. And I still wake up every morning expecting to see my ex-wife's angry face next to me. Instead, I get empty sheets and the sound of Manila traffic 20 floors below my condo window. The divorce papers are still sitting on my kitchen counter. A daily reminder that my 20-year marriage ended with her calling me emotionally unavailable and a walking ATM. Maybe she was right. The heat hits me like walking into an oven as I step outside. Sweat soaks through my shirt before I even reach the jeepney stop. Everything here is different. The smells, the sounds, the way people look at each other. Back in Denver, couples barely make eye contact. Here, I see teenagers holding hands like it means something. My phone buzzes. A dating app notification. Another rejection, probably. I've been trying to connect with women for weeks, but every conversation dies after, "Hello, how are you?" American women want to know my salary before my favorite color. Maybe Filipino women are different. I almost delete the app right there on the street corner, but something stops me. One new message. From someone named Celeste. "Good morning, Marcus. I saw your profile and loved your smile. You look like someone who has interesting stories. I hope today brings you unexpected happiness." I read it twice, then 3 times. When was the last time someone hoped for my happiness? Sarah used to text me grocery lists and complaints about my late nights at work. This woman, this stranger, is wishing me well for no reason at all. My hands shake as I type back, "Thank you for the kind words. Your message already made my day better." Her response comes within minutes. "Tell me about your morning. What does Manila look like through your eyes?" For the next hour, I find myself standing on a busy street corner, typing about the smell of street food and the sound of church bells. She asks follow-up questions. Real questions. About my thoughts, my feelings, my experience of being new here. "You write beautifully," she messages. "Most people just complain about the heat or the traffic. You see the beauty." My chest feels lighter than it has in months. When she sends a photo of herself, genuine smile, kind eyes, no filters, I realize I'm grinning like an idiot in public. We chat until my phone battery dies. Then I rush home just to plug it in and continue talking. That evening, I'm walking through Rizal Park when my phone buzzes with her goodnight message. "Sweet dreams, Marcus. Tomorrow is another chance for joy." I sit on a bench and watch couples walk by under the streetlights. For the first time since arriving in Manila, I'm not thinking about what I lost. I'm thinking about what I might find. A group of older expats passes by, speaking in hushed tones. One of them glances at my phone, then at me and shakes his head. Another one about to learn the hard way. I hear him mutter, but their warning bounces off me like rain. Tonight, nothing can touch this feeling of possibility. The next morning, Celeste's message is waiting. "Good morning, sunshine. Ready for another beautiful day." I am. God help me, I really am. 2 weeks pass in a blur of constant texting. She tells me about her family. Her sick father, her siblings in school, her job as a teacher that barely pays enough to survive. I tell her about my failed marriage, my decision to start over in a new country, my dreams of finding someone who actually wants to be with me. "You're different from most foreign men," she types one evening. "You care about feelings, not just other things." What do you mean? Many expats here just want young girlfriends to show off. You ask about my dreams, my family, my thoughts. That's rare. The compliment makes me feel 10 feet tall. When she finally agrees to meet in person, I spend an hour picking out clothes. My heart pounds as I walk into the coffee shop we chose. Then I see her, and everything else fades away. She's even more beautiful in person. But that's not what catches my attention. It's the way she stands up to greet me, the genuine warmth in her hug, the fact that she remembers I like my coffee black. "You're exactly like I imagined," she says, and I believe her completely. We talk for 4 hours. About everything. Her childhood in a small province, my corporate job back home, her dreams of helping her family, my fear that I'm too old to start over. "Age is just a number," she says, touching my hand across the table. "What matters is the heart. And yours feels very young to me." When we part ways, she kisses my cheek softly. "Thank you for a perfect afternoon, Marcus." Walking back to my condo, I feel like I'm floating. The warnings from other expats seem paranoid and bitter now. They probably just chose the wrong women. Celeste is different. Special. That night, she texts, "I keep smiling thinking about our coffee date. When can I see you again?" I'm already planning our next meeting before I finish reading her message. For the first time in years, I feel like the luckiest man alive. But as I drift off to sleep, I can't quite shake the memory of those expats' worried faces, or the way some of them looked at me like they were seeing a ghost. "My father collapsed at work yesterday." Celeste's voice cracks through the phone at 6 a.m., jolting me awake. "The doctors say he needs surgery, but we don't have insurance." I'm so scared, Marcus. I'm wide awake instantly, my heart racing. We've been dating for 3 weeks, and this is the first time I've heard her cry. Real tears, not the fake ones I got used to with Sarah during our fights. "Where are you?" I ask, already reaching for my clothes. "At the hospital. I've been here all night. The surgery costs 50,000 pesos, and we only have 15,000 saved. I don't know what to do."
50,000 pesos.
That's about $1,000. For her father's life. "I'm coming," I tell her. "Text me the hospital address." The taxi ride through Manila's morning traffic feels endless. I keep thinking about Celeste's tear-stained voice, how helpless she sounded. This is what real crisis looks like. Not Sarah's manufactured drama about expensive handbags or vacation destinations. I find Celeste in the hospital waiting room, surrounded by her family. Her mother looks exhausted. Her younger brother keeps fidgeting with worry, and Celeste herself looks like she hasn't slept in days. When she sees me, she stands up quickly. "Marcus, you came," she whispers, falling into my arms. "I didn't want to bother you, but I had no one else to call." Meeting her family for the first time should be awkward, but there's no time for formal introductions. Her mother grabs my hands and speaks rapid Tagalog while tears stream down her face. "She's thanking you for caring about our family," Celeste translates. "She says you must have a good heart to come here so early." The doctor arrives with updates. Celeste translates his medical terms, but I can see the worry in everyone's faces. Her father needs surgery today, or his condition will get worse. Much worse. "How much?" I ask quietly.
Marcus, no.
"I can't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering." "How much does your father need?" The number hangs in the air between us.
50,000 pesos.
$1,000. Money I spend on groceries back home without thinking twice. "I'll transfer it right now," I say, pulling out my phone. The relief on her family's faces is instant and overwhelming. Her mother starts crying again, but these are different tears. Her brother looks at me like I'm some kind of superhero. Celeste squeezes my hand so tight it almost hurts. "You don't understand what this means," she whispers. "You just saved his life." The money transfers in minutes. Modern technology making miracles possible with a few taps on a screen. The doctor confirms the surgery can happen immediately, and Celeste's family surrounds me with gratitude I've never experienced before. Later, while her father is in surgery, Celeste and I sit in the hospital cafeteria drinking terrible coffee. She tells me stories about her childhood, how her father worked 3 jobs to send her to college, how he never missed one of her school programs even when he was exhausted. "Family is everything here," she explains. "When someone in the family succeeds, everyone succeeds. When someone needs help, everyone helps. It's called capamilia, being family." I think about my own family back in Denver. My parents, who call once a month out of duty. My sister, who only contacts me when she needs money for her kids' activities. The cold, transactional relationships that define American family life. In my country, families aren't like that. I admit, everyone just takes care of themselves. That sounds lonely, Celeste says, and she's right. Her phone buzzes constantly with updates from relatives and friends. Word has spread about her father's surgery, and dozens of people are sending prayers and support. I watch her respond to each message with genuine gratitude. You're amazing, I tell her. The way you handle all this pressure. Take care of everyone. Sarah, my ex-wife, would have fallen apart. Who's Sarah? She asks gently. So I tell her. About the marriage that started with love but ended with scorekeeping. About the woman who counted every dollar I spent on myself but never questioned her own shopping sprees. About the fights that always ended with her calling me selfish for working late or wanting quiet time on weekends. She sounds hurt, Celeste says thoughtfully. Hurt people often hurt others. But that doesn't mean love has to be painful. Her wisdom catches me off guard. At 28, she understands relationships better than I do at 43. The surgery takes 6 hours. When the doctor finally emerges with good news, Celeste's whole family erupts in celebration. Her father will be fine. Complete recovery expected. We need to celebrate, her mother announces through Celeste's translation. You must come to our house for dinner. Tonight. The family home is small but spotless, filled with photos and religious statues. Celeste's mother has cooked enough food to feed 20 people, all for me, the guest of honor, the man who saved their father. During dinner, surrounded by laughter and stories I don't fully understand but somehow feel part of, I realize something profound. I feel more at home in this tiny house with strangers than I ever did in my expensive Denver suburb with my own wife. Thank you, Celeste whispers as we walk to her front gate later that evening. For everything, for caring, for being here, for being you. She kisses me under the street light, soft and grateful and real. Nothing like the obligatory peck Sarah used to give me before bed. I'm falling in love with you, I whisper, and I mean it completely. Me too, she whispers back. I never expected to find someone like you. Driving back to my condo, I feel like the luckiest man alive. This is what love should feel like, generous, supportive, meaningful. Not the cold calculation of my marriage, but warm partnership where helping each other feels natural. My phone buzzes with a message from Celeste. Papa is resting peacefully. The doctors say he'll be home in 3 days. Thank you for giving me my father back. I save the message, planning to read it again tomorrow when I need to remember what it feels like to matter to someone. But as I park my car, I notice John, the Australian expat from the floor below, watching from his balcony. His expression isn't friendly. It's concerned, almost pitying. He waves me over. Mate, can we have a quick chat? Miguel keeps asking when you're coming home. The words freeze on Celeste's phone screen as she hurries back from the bathroom, completely unaware that I've just read the most devastating message of my life. 6 months. 6 months of sending money, making plans, and believing I'd finally found real love. $15,000 for emergencies that felt so urgent, so necessary. And now this stranger named Miguel is asking when she's coming home, like I'm just a temporary detour in her real life. My hands shake as I scroll up through more messages. Each one is a knife in my chest. Playing girlfriend is exhausting. This American won't shut up about marriage. At least the money is good. 3 more months and I'll have enough for our apartment. He's so needy. Keeps wanting to video chat when I'm with you. I set her phone down carefully, my mind spinning. The restaurant around me blurs into background noise. Couples at other tables are laughing, enjoying normal relationships built on truth instead of lies. The waiter refills my water glass, and I can barely nod my thanks. Celeste slides back into her seat, that familiar warm smile lighting up her face. The same smile that convinced me to send money for her brother's tuition last month. The same smile that made me believe her tears were real when her grandmother supposedly died. Sorry about that, she says, reaching for her phone. Family drama, you know how it is. I watch her face carefully as she sees the screen is lit up, different from how she left it. For just a split second, panic flashes in her eyes. Then she's back to smiling, but now I can see how fake it looks. "Everything okay?" she asks, and I realize she's testing me, seeing if I saw anything I shouldn't have. "Who's Miguel?" I ask quietly. The color drains from her face so fast I think she might faint. Her mouth opens and closes like she's trying to find words that don't exist. It's complicated," she finally stammers. "Complicated how?" My voice sounds calmer than I feel. Inside, my heart is pounding like a drum. She looks around the restaurant like she's planning an escape route. Other diners are starting to notice our tense conversation. A family with young children at the next table keeps glancing over. "Marcus, let me explain." "Explain what? That you've been lying to me for 6 months? That every emergency, every crisis, every tear was fake?" My voice is getting louder. The family with children gets up and moves to a different table. Celeste's eyes dart around nervously. "Please, not here," she whispers. "People are staring. Let them stare. I want answers. Now." For the first time since I've known her, Celeste looks genuinely afraid. Not the fake fear she showed me when her father was sick, but real terror. The kind that comes when your lies finally catch up with you. "He's my boyfriend," she says so quietly I almost miss it. "My real boyfriend." The words hit me like a physical blow. I grip the edge of the table to keep myself steady. "Real boyfriend," I repeat. "And what am I?" She can't meet my eyes. You're a good person, Marcus. You helped my family when we needed it. I'm your ATM." The words taste bitter in my mouth. "That's what you called me in your messages. Your personal ATM." Tears start forming in her eyes, but now I can see they're tears of panic, not sadness. She's scared of getting caught, not sorry for what she's done. "It wasn't supposed to be like this," she says. "You were supposed to be just temporary. But then you were so kind, so generous. I started to care about you." "Care about me?" I laugh, but there's no humor in it. "You care about my wallet. That's the only thing about me that matters to you." "That's not true." "Then why are you still with Miguel? Why are you planning to leave me for him?" She opens her mouth, but no words come out. Around us, the restaurant continues its normal rhythm. People eating, talking, living their honest lives while my world falls apart. "How many others are there?" Ask. "What do you mean? How many other lonely foreigners are you talking to? How many other ATMs do you have lined up?" Her silence is answer enough. I pull out my phone and open my banking app. The transaction history tells the whole story. $2,000 for her father's surgery, $1,500 for her brother's school fees, $3,000 for her mother's medication, $2,500 for her grandmother's funeral, $4,000 for various family emergencies. $15,000. I say, showing her the screen. In 6 months. For a family that probably doesn't even exist. "My family is real," she protests weakly. "Maybe, but their emergencies aren't. You're probably not even a teacher, are you?" She flinches like I've slapped her. "I am a teacher," she says, but her voice lacks conviction. "At which school? What grade do you teach? What subject?" More silence. I stand up from the table, leaving money for the meal. "I'm done. We're done. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't come to my condo." "Marcus, wait." But I'm already walking away. Behind me, I can hear her calling my name, but I don't turn around. Other diners are staring now, whispering to each other about the drama they just witnessed. Outside the restaurant, Manila's heat hits me like a wall. I start walking with no destination in mind, just needing to move, to get away from the lies and the fake tears and the woman who saw me as nothing more than a bank account with emotions. My phone buzzes. A text from Celeste. "Please let me explain. It's not what you think." I deleted it without reading it twice. Another buzz. "I know I made mistakes, but my feelings for you are real." Delete. Another buzz. "Miguel means nothing to me. You're the one I want to be with." I turn off my phone entirely. Walking through the crowded streets of Manila, I feel completely alone for the first time since arriving in the Philippines. But it's a different kind of alone than before. Before, I was lonely and desperate. Now I'm just empty. The expats who tried to warn me were right. John from my building, the red-faced American at the hotel bar, the group of older men who shook their heads when they saw me with Celeste. They all tried to tell me, and I was too stupid to listen. I find myself at Rizal Park, the same place where I used to watch couples and dream of finding love. Now I sit on a bench and watch the same couples, wondering how many of them are real and how many are just business transactions disguised as romance. My phone vibrates in my pocket. Probably Celeste again. But when I check, it's John from my building. Mate, heard what happened. Wanna grab a beer and talk? For the first time all day, I smile. A real smile. Not the fake ones I've been giving Celeste for months. Yeah. I text back. I think I need that. She was never your girlfriend, mate. She's been Miguel's live-in partner for 2 years. John takes a long sip of his beer while I stare at him in shock. I've seen them together at the mall, at restaurants, acting like a real couple. You were just the side job. We're sitting at a rooftop bar in Makati, the Manila skyline twinkling below us like a million tiny lies. 3 days have passed since the restaurant confrontation with Celeste, and I thought I knew the worst of it. Apparently, I was wrong. How long have you known? Ask. Since the 2nd month you were dating her. I recognized her from another expat forum. Guy named Richard posted about her last year, same story as yours. Family emergencies, sick relatives, urgent money needs. My stomach drops. There were others before me? At least 4 that I know of. Maybe more. John signals the bartender for another round. She's got a system, Marcus. Professional level stuff. She studies her targets, learns what they need to hear, then delivers it perfectly. I think about all the conversations we had, all the intimate details I shared about my failed marriage, my loneliness, my dreams for the future. She used every single piece of information against me. The father's surgery? I ask weakly. Her father died 3 years ago. Miguel's been playing the role of various sick relatives for different guys. They've got fake hospital documents, fake medical bills, the whole setup. The world spins around me. Every memory of the past 6 months is contaminated now. Her tears at the hospital, her family's gratitude, the way her mother hugged me. All of it was performance art designed to empty my bank account. Why didn't you tell me sooner? John's face gets serious. I tried, mate. Remember that night when I called you over to chat? You were so happy, so convinced she was different. When someone's that deep in, they don't want to hear the truth. They get angry at the messenger. He's right. I remember how annoyed I felt when other expats tried to warn me. How I dismissed them as bitter and jealous. How I thought I was smarter than them, more special, more deserving of real love. There's more, John says quietly. She's not done with you yet. What do you mean? Before he can answer, my phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Marcus, this is Elena, Celeste's sister. She's in the hospital. Please come quickly. My blood runs cold. Even knowing it's fake, part of me still wants to believe it. Part of me still wants to rescue her, to be the hero in her story. Let me guess, John says, reading over my shoulder. Family emergency? Someone's dying? Needs immediate medical attention. Another text. She's asking for you. The doctors say she doesn't have long. Please, she loves you so much. How did you know? Ask John. Because it's the same pattern. When the money stops flowing, they create a final emergency. Something so urgent, so desperate, that even the smart guys fall for it one last time. I stare at the messages, feeling a mixture of anger and something else I can't identify. Admiration, maybe? The sheer audacity of it is almost impressive. What happens if I go? They'll have you at a real hospital with real doctors and a woman who looks enough like Celeste to fool you from a distance. Bandaged up, unconscious, the whole production. They'll need money for surgery, experimental treatment, whatever sounds most urgent. My phone buzzes again. Another unknown number. This is Dr. Santos. Your girlfriend is in critical condition. We need payment for her treatment immediately or we cannot continue. Jesus, I breathe. How many people are involved in this? Think of it like a business, mate. They've got actors, locations, props, scripts. It's organized crime, basically. Romance scams are huge money here. I think about all the times Celeste seemed to know exactly what to say, exactly how to make me feel needed and special. The perfect responses, the ideal timing, the way she always knew which emotional buttons to push. I feel like such an idiot. I say, don't. These people are professionals. They study psychology, practice their craft, perfect their techniques. You're not the first smart guy to fall for it, and you won't be the last. The messages keep coming, each one more urgent than the last. Please hurry, Marcus. She keeps saying your name. Time is running out. The surgery must happen tonight. She's fading fast. Don't let her die thinking you abandoned her. I turn off my phone and put it face down on the table. Good, John says. That's the hardest part, ignoring the final push. Most guys cave at this point. They know it's fake, but they can't resist one last chance to be the hero. We sit in silence for a while, watching the city below. Somewhere down there, Celeste and Miguel are probably celebrating another successful con. Somewhere else, another lonely expat is getting his first message from a beautiful woman who seems too good to be true. What do I do now? Ask. You learn from it. You get smarter. You realize that real love doesn't come with a price tag. But how do I trust again? How do I know if someone actually likes me or just wants my money? John laughs, but not unkindly. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Maybe the trick is learning to like yourself first. When you're not desperate for validation, it's easier to spot the fakes. My phone starts buzzing again, even though it's turned off. The vibration is probably just in my head. Phantom notifications from a phantom girlfriend who was never real in the first place. I need to go home, I say. Want me to walk with you? Just in case they're waiting at your building. The thought hadn't occurred to me, but now I realize it's possible. If Celeste knows where I live, if she's desperate enough for one final payout, she might try a face-to-face ambush. Yeah, I say. I'd appreciate that. As we leave the bar, John puts his hand on my shoulder. For what it's worth, mate, you're handling this better than most. Some guys never recover from this kind of betrayal. How do you know so much about it? He's quiet for a long moment. Because I was you 3 years ago. Different girl, same story. Cost me $20,000 and nearly my sanity. And you got through it? Obviously. And you will too. The key is not letting it make you bitter. Not letting it close your heart completely. Walking through Manila's late-night streets, I feel something I haven't felt in months. Clarity. Not the fake clarity that comes from being love-drunk or desperate, but the real kind that comes from seeing things as they actually are. My phone buzzes one more time. A final message. Marcus, please. If you ever loved me, come to the hospital. Don't let me die alone. I delete it without reading it twice. For the first time since this nightmare began, I feel like I'm making the right choice. The morning light filters through my condo windows differently now. Softer somehow. Less desperate. I'm sitting at the same kitchen table where I used to count the hours until Celeste's next message. But my phone lies face down beside my coffee cup, silent and unimportant. 3 months have passed since that night at the rooftop bar with John. 3 months since I deleted those final fake hospital messages without a second thought. The silence that used to terrify me has become my companion, and I'm surprised to find it peaceful rather than lonely. I pick up my coffee and walk to the balcony. 20 floors below, Manila pulses with its usual rhythm. Jeepneys weave through traffic like schools of fish, street vendors call out their morning offerings, and the city breathes with the energy of millions of people starting their day. I used to watch this scene and feel separate from it, like an observer looking through glass at a life I couldn't touch. Now I see myself as part of it, not as a foreign intruder seeking validation, but as someone who belongs here on my own terms. My phone buzzes once. A message from Sarah, my ex-wife, forwarding divorce papers that need my signature. Strange how her name on the screen doesn't trigger the old familiar ache anymore. That chapter feels like it happened to someone else, a man who believed his worth was measured by others' need for him. I signed the papers electronically and set the phone aside again. No anger, no bitterness, just acceptance. Sarah and I were two people who never learned how to love without keeping score. Maybe she's found someone who makes her feel valued now. I hope she has. The knock on my door interrupts my morning meditation. I'm not expecting anyone, and for a brief moment, my old paranoia surfaces. Could it be Celeste? Another attempt at manipulation? But when I open the door, it's Maria, the cleaning lady from my floor. She's holding her young son's hand, both of them looking nervous. "Sir Marcus," she says in careful English, "I'm sorry to bother you. My son Carlo has a school presentation about different countries. Could he maybe ask you some questions about America?" The boy looks up at me with curious eyes. No agenda hidden behind them, just genuine interest. It strikes me how rare that's become, meeting someone who wants something from me that isn't financial. "Of course," I say, stepping aside to let them in. "Would you like some coffee, Maria? And maybe some juice for Carlo?" As I prepare drinks in my kitchen, I listen to Carlo's questions about snow and skyscrapers and American football. His excitement is infectious, pure in a way I'd forgotten existed. When was the last time someone was interested in my stories without calculating their value? "You seem different, Sir Marcus," Maria says quietly while Carlo sketches the Golden Gate Bridge at my dining table. "Before, you always looked, how do you say, worried? Now you look peaceful." Her observation catches me off guard. I haven't thought about how I appear to others, but she's right. The constant anxiety that used to follow me like a shadow has lifted. "I was going through some difficulties," I tell her, "but I'm learning that being alone isn't the same as being lonely." She nods knowingly. "My husband left when Carlo was 2. I thought I needed a man to be complete. But then I realized I was already complete. I just forgot." Her wisdom reminds me of something I've been slowly discovering. The people who've taught me the most about myself haven't been romantic partners or potential relationships. They've been unexpected encounters like this one. Honest conversations with neighbors, brief connections with strangers, moments of genuine human contact that ask nothing of me except presence. After Maria and Carlo leave, I find myself thinking about the volunteer work I started last month. Teaching English to children at a local community center wasn't something I planned. It happened by accident when I got lost trying to find a new coffee shop and stumbled into their courtyard during class time. The teacher, Ms. Rodriguez, asked if I could help with pronunciation. One afternoon became 2, then 3. Now I go twice a week. Not because anyone needs my money or wants to marry me, but because these kids light up when they master a difficult word or finally understand a grammar concept they've been struggling with. Yesterday, 8-year-old Anna ran up to me with a drawing she'd made. "Teacher Marcus," she said, using the title they've all adopted for me, "this is you teaching us about past tense verbs." The stick figure she'd drawn had a big smile and arms stretched wide, like it was embracing the whole world. I've kept that drawing on my refrigerator, next to a photo of my parents and a postcard from my sister. Small tokens of connection that don't cost anything except attention and care. My laptop chimes with a new email. It's from Tom, an American expat I met at the community center. He's starting a support group for foreign men who've experienced romance scams, and he's asking if I'd consider sharing my story. 6 months ago, the idea would have mortified me. The shame of being fooled, the embarrassment of falling for such obvious manipulation. I would have done anything to keep it secret, but now I see it differently. My experience with Celeste wasn't a personal failing. It was a lesson in recognizing my own vulnerabilities and learning to address them honestly. I type back, "I'd be honored to help. When do we start?" The afternoon finds me at Resall Park, the same place where I used to sit and watch couples with desperate longing. Today I'm here for a different reason. I've started bringing a book and reading under the old trees, enjoying the simple pleasure of words and shade and the sound of families playing nearby. A young couple walks past, the woman clearly pregnant, both of them glowing with anticipation. Instead of the old stab of envy, I feel genuine happiness for them. Their joy doesn't diminish mine. It adds to the overall warmth of the day. My phone rings. John's name appears on the screen. "How are you holding up, mate?" he asks. "Good," I say, and I mean it. Really good. "Fancy a beer tonight? There's someone I'd like you to meet. Jenny, she's an Australian teacher here. Been in Manila for 5 years, does real work at a real school, pays her own bills. No drama, no emergencies, just good company." The old me would have jumped at the chance, desperate for another opportunity to feel needed and special. But something has shifted in me. I'm not running from loneliness anymore, which means I'm not vulnerable to people who might exploit it. "Maybe next week," I tell John. "I'm not looking for anything right now." "Fair enough. But Marcus, when you are ready, and you'll know when that is, make sure it's because you want to share your life with someone, not because you need them to complete it." After we hang up, I sit in the fading afternoon light and think about what readiness might feel like. Not the desperate hunger I felt when I first arrived in Manila, but something calmer. The desire to add to someone's life because mine is already full, not because I'm hoping they'll fill an emptiness inside me. The sun sets behind the Manila skyline, painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. I think about the version of myself who sat in this same park 9 months ago, scrolling through dating apps with sweaty palms and a racing heart. He seems like a stranger now, well-meaning but lost, generous but naive, loving but unaware that love must begin with loving yourself. I've learned that the dark side of any relationship begins the moment we mistake being used for being valued. But I've also learned that recognizing this truth doesn't make us bitter or closed off. It makes us wise. It teaches us to approach connection from a place of strength rather than need, to offer our hearts because we choose to, not because we're desperate to be chosen. Walking back to my condo as the city lights begin to twinkle, I realize that I've finally found what I came to the Philippines looking for. Not a woman to complete me, not validation of my worth through someone else's need, but something far more valuable. The quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are when no one else is watching. My phone stays silent in my pocket, and for the first time since I can remember, that silence feels like freedom.